हो गए।
अभी रिकॉर्डिंग के लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा? रिकॉर्डिंग के लिए अच्छा वॉल्यूम वॉल्यूम
एक ये
अभी आ रहा है, अभी फुल पे डाल दे।
आपका वॉइस जाएगा, आपका वीडियो कैमरा चालू रखना है ना।
हाँ वीडियो कैमरा। फिर उसके बाद अगर सबको म्यूट पे डालना है तो?
वो खुद अपने यहाँ से करेंगे, वो उनको म्यूट पे डालना है तो वो अपने यहाँ से
नहीं
करेंगे।
नहीं नहीं, बट देयर इज वन ऑपरेशन इन विच यू कैन म्यूट एवरीबॉडी एक्सक्लूडिंग द स्पीकर।
आपको करना है तो अपने यहाँ से करना है तो आप यहाँ पे क्लिक कर सकते हो।
If I want to mute all the other people outside, वो नहीं होता है ना? Participants, एक मिनट, participants,
अभी 3 जन कोई ये करेंगे,
हाँ
किसी को निकालना है तो अपने
नहीं,
निकाल
हाँ
सकते हैं, बट वॉइस तो उनके यहाँ से ही जाएगा।
हाँ, तो ठीक है, तो आई हैव टू टेल एवरीबॉडी टू बी ऑन म्यूट।
हाँ, तो एक बार किसी को कनेक्ट होने बोले तो अपन चेक कर सकते हैं कि हुआ है या नहीं, मतलब उनको दिख रहा
आएंगे अभी, अभी तो वो 10 ही हुआ है ना, तेरा टाइम लगेगा।
है।
शेयर, अच्छा, और ये दूसरा किसको देना है?
तो आप लिंक शेयर करके
नहीं, लिंक तो उनको दिया है ऑलरेडी, फिर ये शेयर शेयर करेगा तो?
शेयर अपन करके देखते हैं क्या।
एक मिनट, हाँ, मल्टीपल पर्सन कैन शेयर। चैट बॉक्स है।
हाँ, तो कोई किसी को कुछ क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते
नहीं नहीं, वो चैट बॉक्स तो समझ गया, ये मेरे को मालूम था, बिकॉज जो स्पीकर है वो गुरेगा पे बैठा है,
हैं।
तो वील हैव टू गिव इट टू हिम टू,
या
तो दैट टाइम वील हैव टू गो टू शेयर एंड, एक मिनट देखने दो, शेयर पे,
ये रिकॉर्ड पे डालना है ना।
एक मिनट, वन पार्टिसिपेंट कैन शेयर एट अ टाइम, मल्टीपल पार्टी। बुकिंग का भी रहेगा ना?
हाँ,
इधर है, इधर है, एक मिनट, एक मिनट, बॉस,
पॉज करना है तो अपन यहाँ से कर सकते हैं, अल्ट पी करके।
अभी प्रोग्रेस है। गुड इवनिंग एवरीबॉडी, हेलो, यू कैन हियर मी? हेलो,
Sachin, we can hear you.
okay, I'll just start with this. I just introduced Mihir Bhai. I don't think so he actually requires introduction. Mihir Bhai is well known to everybody in FPME, but it is important that people really know more about him, because he's actually a one-man army for us in many ways, because he not only takes care of the legal aspects and the commercial aspects, but he's also a wonderful trainer. Okay, and his basic qualification is that he is a BCom LLB, and he's also done his MBA. That is just the basic, but as a profile, his basic profile shares that he is a service provider as well as a trainer, and his professional achievements are many. But I will just top off with a few of them. One is that he's annually conducted over more than 100 plus training programs. He is the winner of India 5000 Best MSME Award for 2024. He is also an award for appreciation for the Pen and Stationery Association of India as a foreign trade consultant. He is appointed as a mentor for profit acceleration program, which is funded by the Asian Development Bank for internationalization of SMEs in India, Cambodia. Okay. And he's also successfully passed the ICC Incoterms of 2020 trainers exam and also certificate of completion of Incoterms. Okay. He's also presented research papers. And as such, there have been more achievements and it has been a wonderful this for many of our members in terms of the advice that we have given them to tackle various issues. So I just over now. So
benefit company 300 crore का एक अच्छा फायदा होगा
so that he can start with this.
Tender team is not only about winning tenders.
How do I share this, Mihir, by any idea?
Shashiji, two things. If you see my name in the participants,
चलो मिलते हैं. Nice meeting.
Yeah.
you can there will be a drop down. You can make me co-host.
Okay. Just a
And
minute.
I believe there is somebody connected to an icon FPME India. I
Yes.
think you can switch off the audio. Yeah, okay.
I changed it now to you.
Okay, I'm the host now. Oh, then I'll
Yeah.
have to admit everyone. Okay.
Okay. It's only a request to just tell all members to be on mute. Questions only at the end of the program.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So thank you, Shashiji. Good afternoon, everyone. Always interesting to connect with all of FPME members. My request to participants as we go along is, since we are a very close-knit group, it will be great if we can switch on the cameras. It will be a little more interesting, and we can have a two-way dialogue as we go along. Obviously, as Shashiji mentioned, we will maintain mute on all of you. However, the chat options are on. So you could certainly drop in your messages or queries on the chat, and we'll be happy to answer it as we go along. Once again, requesting everyone to switch on their videos so that it's very interesting. 1 second. Perfect. I think, Shashiji, we have an option to okay, I think it was recording something. Okay.
Yeah, I already started recording it. Don't worry.
Okay, fine. No, it gave me some message. When we were discussing with Shashiji on what topics, and we were discussing on the certificate of origin and the other online compliances, is what we are planning for today. And I know the news online COO has been a little challenging for many. We will discuss that. We will discuss the EBRC part as well. We will discuss the online compliance, what are available or what are at this point of time applicable to the exporter. Multiple of them, and maybe a couple of them which you might want to discuss separately, or you have a challenge, please feel free to put that discussion in the chat. I've always maintained, and I still maintain, and I want to pass this on to all our FPME members, that as much as you focus on your product, pricing, quality, payments, please also focus on the compliance. There are times where people have been very successful exporters, people have been doing fantastic stuff, but they have suffered in terms of the compliance and the procedure. Many of you have got love letters, may have got documents and demands from the customs after 10 years, 20 years, 15 years. DGFT has sent letters, and that's all happened through compliance as a challenge. All right. One of the immediate changes which has happened very recently is in case of multiple scenarios, and I'll discuss those scenarios first. In case that, let's say you have taken duty drawback or ROTTEP or any other incentives, and for whatever reason the buyer has not paid, the law has very clear provisions that you are supposed to return back the drawback with interest, because you get the drawback beforehand, you get the ROTTEP beforehand. In case of any other, let's say import duty waiver or any other things, wherever there is a customs involved and you have received that benefit, for whatever reason that benefit is now not liable to, or you're supposed to pay back, I'll give you a very interesting issue at this point of time in our all, I'm sure everybody's hands is especially, and I know many of you or most of you are based out of Mumbai. DGFT Mumbai has got an audit objection for about 8,000 exporters, valuing to about 1 crore 51,000 rupees of extra MEIS paid to the exporter because of some custom rate mistake. It is a system error. Neither you, neither I am responsible, but technically that the MEIS value is what is given to you is higher than what you are supposed to get. I'm sure many of you have got those letters, and anything from as low as 7 rupees extra to about maybe 70,000 rupees is what has to be paid back to the department. Now, all of these kind of what is called as voluntary payment were until now being easily possible through help of your custom house agent, whereby you would pay him through a DD or a challan, and a manual challan was being done. On 23rd of December, Customs has issued a circular, and effective of 31st of December, that is from 1st of January, no manual challans will be accepted. So whether it is 1 rupee or 1 lakh rupees, there will be no manual challan or no DD or nothing possible. You will have to use the voluntary online mechanism only for the payment of these kind of, there are about, I would say, 15 or 20 odd reasons why would you pay. Some of them I've just illustrated as a scan copy of the circular. Example, if it is an investigation, it is a payment against audit, it is a EPCG shortfall, it is an advance authorization shortfall, it is a notice or it's an interest. And these are just 9 of them. There are multiple of them. There's an entire big list available on the circular. The idea is wherever there was a manual challan being prepared. So if you are importing a bill of entries being filed, that's not the place. But wherever there's a manual challan being prepared, now that manual challan will not be prepared and you will have to use the online voluntary mechanism. Which brings us back to our first and the foremost thing, that if you have to discuss or do anything with the customs, you need access to their IceGate website. So I assume most of you have an IceGate login ID and password available. So when you have your IceGate login ID password available, you can click on the tab called Services. Under the Services, you have 3 options. I mean, you have multiple options. In that, you have an option called e-payment. And in that e-payment, you have 3 options called as create a voluntary challan, ECL duty payment, and e-wallet or dashboard. Because you want to make the payment. So let's say Kevin Bhai wants to make the payment. You will create a voluntary challan, Kevin Bhai. The basic detail, that's your IC number, your company name will already be automatically pulled up. What you have to start doing is decide on why you are paying it. What is the detail? What is the reference? So let's say it's a shipping bill or some invoice number against which you are paying. Is it a letter? What is the amount? And you make the payment. While making the payment, because it is an IceGate platform, you have options. If you have a ECL ledger, that is the electronic ledger, if you have the money in that, you can use that. You can use any FT payment. You can use your credit card. Multiple options available. Mind you, a little be careful. The system is not that seamless as it may look like. So what I have seen it, and I'm not saying it is going to be permanent. They are improving, but what I have seen it is that unfortunately, once you have created this voluntary challan, you have to make sure that you complete the payment and go until the last step and get the challan generated. In between, though it says the challan is saved, but if you come back, you will not be able to look at the challan. So, an unpaid challan will unfortunately in practical aspects become not trackable or not receivable. You'll have to do the separate process again. However, once you have done the entire payment challan, you'll get the challan number and everything. Now, there's another challenge. How do you download the challan? because you'll need that for your records. You'll need that to give it to the customs. You need that to give it to the DGFT, for which, after a little bit of struggle, practical functioning, we realized, and through IceGate Help Desk, we realized what you need to do is you don't need to log in that platform. In fact, without login on the IceGate platform, under the services tab, please note this is a tab here. Here. So when you don't log in, if you log in, the services tab goes away. So when you don't log in, just type icegate.gov.in. You will see the services tab. In that services tab, you have all the options of e-payment, and in that you have the option of payment status. You go to that payment status. There will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 options. ECCS, Central Excise Payment, SEZ Payment, Top Up, Customs Duty Payment, and the last one is Voluntary Payment. So you select the voluntary payment. Now you will select whether it was a bill of entry, whether it was shipping bill, or whether it was a letter. Select the port. Now here there is a problem, identification. So what is the identification? With all the struggle and with thankfully help of help desk, IceGate help desk, they intimated it is IC code. So don't worry about that you don't have the identification number. So mention your IC code, put the captcha, say proceed. You will be able to see the challan which has been generated, and you can download and print and save it as PDF from that module. And that is the challan which you can give it to your customs, give it to DGFT, give it to whichever authority requires you to make that payment, because that payment has been recorded now. All right. Please understand, what we are changing is only the method of payment, which was a manual challan to an electronic challan. It doesn't mean कि challan हो गया यानी मेरे सामने का show cause notice खत्म हो गया. Or it is not that it is close the file. No. The procedure or the process what normally applies has to apply. But this is only the procedure where earlier you were giving a DD or a pay order, or you were giving a manual, and the custom was, your CHA was giving you a manual challan. It is there. I see this as a very good opportunity from a different perspective. The perspective is that in case if there's a default, or you get to know there's a default, you don't have to wait till the moment custom tells you or the CHA tells you to pay. You can quickly go to voluntary payment and pay it off, so that you can reduce your interest every day. Because every day, if not less, 15% interest lag raha hai. Now, you may say, how does it matter? No, it does matter. Any which way that interest is the cost. So whether it is 100 rupees versus 1,000 rupees, not only that, it also makes you little more compliant, so that when you go and talk to the department that, listen, this was a problem and I am to pay. The difference is when Kevin Bhai says to the custom officials or to department that I will pay versus I have already paid. Now please proceed with the matter, is a two different aspect. So when you say I've already paid and this is the challan, I think the approach changes vis-a-vis when you say I will go and pay once you confirm, and so on and so forth. So the first compliance online which I wanted to discuss with you was this online voluntary payment mechanism. I hope for all those who have had any challenges, please use this platform. For any reason you do not have an IceGate login ID password, please generate one, because without an IceGate login ID and password, it will not work. Just a second. Sorry, I think we had people coming in. Okay, I have admitted people at home, people inside. Now there are no more in the pendency. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. For people who have just joined in, request is to remain muted. And okay, what we've just spoken about, I'll quickly recap on that because probably I was to allow you to get inside the Zoom, and fair enough, I couldn't see that pending waiting room. So we have just talked about voluntary payment under the customs scenario, where if you have any challan or any duty or interest payment to be done, earlier you were doing it through a challan mechanism. Now you have to do it online on the ICE gate. Log into your dashboard. Under the options of services, you have this voluntary challan option. You can create your voluntary challan. When I say voluntary, it is basically where you are going forward. It could be a notice, it could be show cause, it could be, but just typically you agree to pay and you are going ahead. Typically, this is not for the bill of entries which are generated and for which you are making the payment. That's a separate duty payment that is under ECL. That is a straightforward method. This is more of compliance related challenges where you have either claimed more of drawback, or your buyer has not paid you and drawback has to be returned, ROTTEP has to be returned, or custom duty, there is a challenge, issues on interest, EPCG shortfall, advance authorization shortfall. In any of those scenarios, yes, Meghalbhai, MEIS demand is exactly what we've discussed. When you have an MEIS demand, you can use this voluntary payment option to pay it off. For people who are using MEIS, my request is when you go to the voluntary challan, it will ask you for the document we just mentioned, that automatically the basic IEC detail is there, but it'll ask you for reference. Why are you paying against? For what? So you can select the shipping bill numbers which have been shown in that letter which you get in the demand. That acha, for this shipping bill you have to pay 10 rupees. For this shipping bill you have to pay 20 rupees. So accordingly, you can mention the shipping bill numbers and the details so that it can be mapped when the challans are being paid. Of course, interest has to be also paid along with it. And all of this will happen through voluntary mechanism online on the ICE gate. I've just discussed this, that the status or the challan can be downloaded out here. Only file number is shown, no shipping bill number. Meghalbhai, I think the shipping bills are there. If you're getting a letter, the shipping bill numbers are there. If the file number is there, you can go with the file number. But to my memory serves me right, I have closed it couple of challans where shipping bill numbers we have mentioned. So my memory serves me right. The letter tells you which are the shipping bill numbers against which you have to pay how much. Because when the letter has come from DGFT for your MEIS demand, they have given you the sort of an Excel, or they have given you the details that these are your shipping bill numbers and this is the extra money which you are supposed to pay. Right? That's basically where you will go, and in that option you have the voluntary payment where you can go and select the voluntary payment option and then select the document type, your location, your IC number, and then put in the captcha. And when you click on proceed, you will see all your challans which you have already paid and it will show successful. And from there you can download your challan copy. So challans can be downloaded from that premise as we have just shown you. Right. Any questions on this voluntary thing before I go to the next part? So that we close that at this point of time. My only request is if you can have a question, put it in the chat, and then we can go further. Any questions on the voluntary payment mechanism which is there? Whether it is for your IC, whether it's for your old MEIS, for drawback, for any audit objection, for any duty payment, any shortfall of duties, any interest payment to the customs, all of this. So typically where you have to make the payment to the customs, now you will use this unless you have a ready process available like your bill of entry. All right. I'm still getting people coming in. So yeah, a little bit of people joining in there as well. Perfect. So the second part of the discussion, which I'm sure most of you are obviously aware of, but there's a confusion on this. and I wanted to once for all make it clear and clarify this, is in the scenario of what is happening with ROTTEP. Okay, and there are two parts to this. Number one, please note very clearly, ROTTEP scheme per se started in 2021, and when it started in 2021, it obviously did not have many of your HSN codes, chapter 30, 31, and all of it. Somewhere in 2023 of December, pharmaceutical products were added to MEIA, to a ROTTEP, and you were made eligible to. However, please understand fundamentally ROTTEP is it is complied to an 8-digit HSN code, which is notified under Appendix 4R. So if your HSN code is there in the 4R, you are eligible for it. While this scheme was announced, there were some ineligible criteria, and ineligible criteria, 3 critical criteria were part of it, which was number one, if you are claiming an advance authorization scheme benefit, if you are 100% EOU, and if you are an SEZ unit. All 3 were not eligible for ROTTEP. Subsequently, these were allowed in March of 2024. So in March of 2024, they were allowed, but they were allowed with a lower rate and a separate appendix. Appendix 4RE was notified. Okay. While all of this was happening, the original ROTTEP notification said that the scheme will be valid till 31st of March 2024. Please listen carefully. The scheme said it will be valid till 31st of March 2024. When this scheme came in where the 4RE was introduced and all of that was introduced, there was one more line which said the FTP said that this scheme of ROTTEP is extended till 30th of September 2024. So that was already done, but unfortunately many people did not read that. And of course, there were time in custom a day or two in September that there was a problem. But please understand, while they did this, they've also now added, that means now ROTTEP is in 2 parts. One, for the people who claim duty drawback, most of you do. And in case if you're doing advance authorization, you are also eligible, but you are doing it under advance authorization, so you are eligible under Appendix 4RE. So on 30th of September, when the deadline of the ROTTEP scheme was to expire, a new notification came into existence, and it said, and it has used the word which is confusing people. It said that the products manufactured by a DTA unit. What is this DTA unit? The ones who are claiming duty drawback. Okay? So please understand the intention of using this word, not go by the meaning of it. Oh, should I manufacture it? No. You are okay to be a merchant exporter. The goods have been manufactured in India and you are claiming duty drawback. I'm assuming the goods are not manufactured by a EOU unit. It is not manufactured by an SEZ unit. It is not under advance authorization. It is not an imported goods. It is manufactured by an Indian entity, either by yourself or by an Indian manufacturer, exported by you, claiming duty drawback benefit, or even maybe claiming free. In that case, if you want to claim ROTTEP, please understand, as on the notification, it is already extended for 1 year. That is until 30th of September 2025. There is no problem. So you have no issue whatsoever. However, let's assume one of you or some of you might be using advance authorization also. Then the circular, the notification clearly mentioned that your scheme, that is Appendix 4RE, is valid only till 31st of December 2024. That means from 1st of January 2025, technically, there is no ROTTEP for exporters exporting under advance authorization, or they are under an EOU unit, or they are an SEZ unit. These 3 are technically not eligible for the scheme because the scheme has expired on 1st of January 2025. I hope this is clear as far as policy is concerned. And for most of you who are claiming drawback, you can continue to claim. There is nothing to worry on your side. 30th September 2025 is the date until which ROTTEP is available to you. Last bit, though legally this has been expired on from 1st of January 2025, the customs and the DGFT both have kept on adding a messages officially on the scroll of the website. There's no notification, no circular, no official letter, but on their website, they have kept on announcing that the benefit for advance authorization, SEZ and others is kept on extending from 1st of January to 14th of January and then 27th of January and then 5th of February. Unfortunately, even today, as we are on 14th of Feb, still it is saying that the scheme is extended till 5th of February. Our understanding and the idea was that probably they are waiting for the budget on 1st of February so that the allocation and other things will happen and then they will announce. Unfortunately, that has also happened, but we still don't have a clarity on what the legal stand is. But coming to merchant exporters or coming to majority of you as a member of FPME, I'm sure you are claiming duty drawback. And if you are doing so, then there is nothing or no challenge whatsoever. So don't worry on that aspect at all. What is the DGFT definition of deemed export as per Trade Policy 2023? Dharmesh bhai, that's a chapter 7 of the FTP. It is when you supply to an advance authorization holder, when you supply to a 100% EOU, or you supply capital goods to EPCG, only those are considered as deemed export. There's a detailed chapter number 7 which talks about what is deemed exports. Deemed export is not what we generally mean that you supply to a trader and trader exports. That's not deemed export. Chapter 7 of the FTP very clearly defines what is deemed exports and what do you mean by deemed export. Yep. The second part of the ROTTEP challenge, which is at the moment faced by people and with everyone, I'm sure you are also being talked about, is the annual ROTTEP return, ARR. Correct? I hope all of you are aware of it and prepared for it. Right? Well, don't get tensed. You don't need to be prepared for it because first and foremost, the annual return is required only for exporters. Please understand this carefully. Whose ROTTEP claim for the financial year 23-24 is more than 1 crore. Whether claimed or not claimed or received or not claimed, received. But if you have done, so if I have to just say 1 crore of ROTTEP is, and if let's say an average ROTTEP benefit is 1%, which means 100 crores of exports. So if you have done 100 crores of exports, which is 1% is 1 crore, only then you are supposed to apply for the ROTTEP return. That means you have to submit the return. These returns are separate for advance authorization scheme and drawback. It is an 8-digit level. So in that also there is a bifurcation that let's say, Nimit bhai, if you had 2 products, your total export is 1 crore and above. But, or let's say just about 1 crore. But in one HSN code, you have done 60 lakhs of ROTTEP and another 40. Then you have to give data on 2 HSN code basis. One which has more than 50 lakhs of exports, ROTTEP, and for others, which is 10-20 lakhs, combined together and give the data for that. This is the data which is going to be used to calculate that what benefit you have got, is it valid, valuable or not. The confusion or the challenge was that, sir, I'm a merchant exporter. I don't know the manufacturer data, but it is very clearly clarified. Even merchant exporters whose 1 crore more or more ROTTEP claim is there, they are required to get the data with help of the manufacturers and submit. The online module for the same has been activated. on the DGFT website. So if you go to your DGFT portal under the services section, you will see the ROTTEP option where you can apply for this. And these are the kind of steps which you have to do to apply for ROTTEP. Your basic details, your export details, what are your inputs, the tax amount on that. If you have a supporting, you attach that and then summarize and submit it. Again, most of you will not be covered under this. Reason very clear. Your export ROTTEP value is not more than 1 crore. Please understand, it's not your sale value. It is the ROTTEP amount for the financial year 23-24. I have a small request for you in general, and I think if you want to take this up, please understand this. See, for 23-24, it is 1 crore. I don't know if tomorrow department says 50 lakhs for 24-25 or maybe 5 lakhs for 24-25, which means then you will also be part of the return, right? Now that you know that something of this sort is being asked, correct? Can you, for your current financial year, which is in your control, start creating documents and details, looking at the annual return, that as if you had to submit, can you create or just start getting the data? Assuming, let's say you don't know or you don't have it. Example, I'll tell you what. There's a duty element on the transport to be calculated, the petrol duty and the diesel duty. Now, generally, obviously, you don't calculate. But now that you know, can you start calculating that what is the distance between your factory and the port? Let's say it is 200 kilometers. 200 kilometers कितना पेट्रोल जाता है? Let's say 20 लीटर. तो 20 लीटर के हिसाब से कितना ड्यूटी बना? Can you start looking at the data and collecting it now onwards as a part of your process? Because that is for 23-24, it is 1 crore. Let's say for 24-25, they say, give me data if you have claimed ROTTEP of 1 lakh and more. All of you will be part of it, my friends. And then you will also have to do the same data analysis what these guys are doing. So I'm thinking that for merchant exporters, for members of FPME, and for people, especially MSMEs who do not have 100 crores of exports and not have got 1 crore ROTTEP, please consider that this is the time given to you to prepare yourself. Look at that online return, find out the details and get good. I know you are a merchant exporter. I know you cannot ask the manufacturer many things, but you also have information. Na? You know that manufacturer is sitting in Gujarat, and from Gujarat, if he's sending to Nhava Sheva, Google Map, you can just find out how much is the kilometers. For every document, every export order, you are taking a packing credit, and that packing credit, you are paying some stamp duty to the bank. How much is that money? You figure that out. Now, until now, you were doing all of that as bank charges. पर वो bank charges का एक बार statement निकालो ना, देखो ना उसमें 50 रुपया stamp duty charges है. And like 50, you are doing this 500 times in a year. That is amounting to 5,000 rupees. So my request to you is, if it applies to you, obviously you have no choice but to do it. So, I mean, not that I don't assume many of you are large exporters, but if it applies to you for 100 crores and of exports and about 1 crore is the ROTTEP. So ROTTEP amount of 1 crore and above, if you are part of it, you will have to submit this return before 31st of March 2025. You have a grace period of 3 months, but then 10,000 is the penalty. And if you don't submit, your ROTTEP of the future will not be given to you until and unless you clear this pendency. My request to you is, please consider this as the time where you can prepare yourself, create some database, start asking your supplier for, kilometers or points or whatever it is. If you're asking the fuel, many of you are sitting in Maharashtra, many of you are in Gujarat, Delhi, maybe in South. You know that excise duty on petrol is different. So everybody's not paying the same amount. So shayad VAT is different, which we generally don't see because we only are now looking at GST. So find out the taxes, kitna lag raha hai, what is it, and then try to keep that record for your reference. It will help you when you have to give the data to the department. All right. The one thing which you're all looking forward to, and I'm sure many of you have started facing challenges, and that's the new COO. So on 6th of December, we had a circular which migrated the COO to a new website called trade.gov.in. There was a deadline given, which was 21st of December. Then it got extended. Earlier, they started with only non-preferential, and then they started with preferential. So this is the website, which is called trade.gov.in. Let me first clarify. We have two kinds of certificate of origin. One, which is called as non-preferential. This is a certificate of origin which is just given to confirm that the goods are of Indian origin. These are generally issued by nominated agencies like the Chamber of Commerce, the associations, the export promotion councils, anywhere in India. So you can be sitting in Mumbai and applying, the certificate of origin from a Chamber of Commerce in Delhi, or you can be in Bombay and applying it from a Chamber of Commerce in Bombay or a Export Promotion Council, whoever it is, does not matter. We also have a preferential COO, which is under the free trade agreement. Basically, it is a certificate which allows your buyer to get reduction in the import duty. So you have to understand that there are two separate. When there are two separate, even before, whether it is not because of this software, earlier also the method and the documentation were little different. It has to be that there will be some legal procedure in terms of compliance. The non-preferential certificate of origin is more of a self-declaration, which now I am told almost in many cases, it is issued in like less than 1 hour. The preferential certificate of origin is little more trickier. It depends upon the agreement, and we have only few agencies, either the DGFT office, either the textile committee or the development commissioner in some cases, or the most common and the most popular or the nodal agency is the Export Inspection Agency or EIA, which is going to use or going to be used for this benefit or this certificate of origin preference issuance. If you have not opened the trade.gov.in website, my request is please go to it. What you will require when you log on, when you go into it, the first and the foremost thing is it is as good as the DGFT website. So, we had a website earlier for certificate of origin that was called coo.dgft.gov.in. It had a separate login ID. The look and the feel was different. This is exactly almost like a DGFT website. In fact, the same DGFT website login ID and password will be used on this website also. So it is an email ID you can use. You can create a new login also and give it to your staff, but you can use the same DGFT login ID and web password which you use for your DGFT website, for your IEC, for your RCMC. We will have to submit it either via digital signature or via OTP Aadhaar-based verification. So unlike in the previous certificate of origin where we used to have a DGFT digital signature, now you can use any class 3 signature and or an Aadhaar-based OTP is also good enough. For your general non-preferential certificate of origin, just the invoice and the packing list is good enough for you to upload. And very recently, a notification clarified that if you are into trading and you have imported a non-Indian origin goods and you want to export that and for which you require a certificate of origin, back-to-back certificate of origin that is non-preferential, confirming that these goods are of, let's say, Philippine origin or Vietnam origin or a Bangladesh origin or a European origin, whichever, France or Italy, that will also be possible through the online mechanism. It's a very simple process if you want to, once you understand it, The login page, as you click on, is there. You click, put your email ID, which is your username, the password, the captcha. For once, it will ask you what are you into, whether you are into export, which countries. It's just a one-time database collection. Once you have done that, it will never ask you. You will reach to this dashboard where you have an option either to click on the get certificate of origin there, or you can have an apply for certificate of origin. Once you click on that, you have an entire window of certificate of origin related data. Whether you want to apply, you want to view it, whether you want to see the status of it, whether you want the help file, whether the digital signature which you have uploaded, is it correctly done, or you want to update that, all of it. And now, in fact, the even COO wallet, we will discuss about that. That is, you can deposit the money in your Chamber of Commerce or Association's account, so that when you generate COO, every time you don't have to go to the payment page. The COO application, when you click, is almost, as you can see on the top, more like the DGFT processors. You can click on start up fresh application. It will give you various options. These are the 7 options or 7 steps which you one after the other you will file. People make mistakes at the beginning only. So the IC number and everything is by default there. If you want a physical copy, you have to click yes. If you don't want, you are okay with the digital copy, then it will be no. Have you updated profile? You will always have to declare yes. And then you will select the certificate type. If it is non-preferential, so please don't do mistake preferential, non-preferential. It will depend upon this that other options get activated. So when you select non-preferential, the trade agreement will obviously not applicable. The type is normal and retrospective. In non-preferential, there is nothing called as retrospective. It is only in the preferential because there is a timeline, 3 days, 7 days, 10 days, 1 month. You can then go and select the agency. This is just a glimpse of agencies. There are thousands of agencies. You can scroll here. If you can see, this is a scroll available. You can scroll and go to, or just type the alphabets and it will go to that particular option. It will select the place. You can select the issuing office. Like I was just before I logged on to this webinar, I had somebody's to be done at Maharashtra Chamber in Nashik. So I selected Maharashtra Chamber. I selected the place at Nashik. The issuing officer is Nashik, and so forth. Then I decided whether it is a third party or it is accumulation. It is not, and start filling up the details which are relevant to that particular product. So as you can see, non-preferential, I have select non-preferential, normal CO. Example is Bombay Chamber, Mumbai, Bombay Chamber, Mumbai. And it is non-cumulative and it is not third party, or it is not for exhibition. So I've selected all these details. I go to the next part, which talks about export details. So if you see, we have done the basic, then we have done the certificate, then you will do the export, which is invoice number, packing list, and invoice number, value, product detail, and so on and so forth. Which in this case, first, the basic detail, it will also talk about importer name, which is the company, which is the country, which is the address, your invoice number, the date, the currency of the invoice, and so on and so forth. When you save it, you go to the next part, which is export. You will have to select your export HSN code. Mind you, this description, whatever it comes here, you can edit it. There are now character restrictions, more than 300 characters it doesn't take. So you'll have to take care of that. The HSN code you select from drop down is the Indian HSN code. The HSN code what you type here is the one which gets printed. Quantity, value, whatever you select, and if you want to print one, you print one. You select the drop down, it will give you whether you want a only gross quantity to mention, net quantity to mention, or both to mention. What is this? This is what will get printed. So you can select the option, select the details, the value, and as soon as you add, it gets added in the COO at the bottom to show this is what you've added. Now, if you have 3, 4, 5, 6 line items, you keep on putting the details, keep on adding, it will add. The current structure is that in a general normal description level page, you can have about 4 line items in one page. So if you have 5, it will come into second page. Don't worry, this is automatically graded. You don't have to do anything. But I'm just giving you a visual feel that 4 line items will be in one page. Again, depends upon what is the textual content and number of characters and everything you are adding. The next part is where people get confused, is the import raw materials and details. Now, please understand the assumption in the non-preferential certificate of origin is that the goods are of Indian origin. That means you have manufactured the goods in India, you or anybody else, but the goods are of Indian origin. And there is nothing to do with imported raw material or details. And if that is the assumption, when you reach to the import page, you actually scroll down. These are the 3 tabs. I have closed these tabs. Basically, you can just scroll down. You just have to go to the last tab, which is about exporter preference criteria, export preference criteria, where the item which you have already selected, it will be there. Just click on the edit pencil icon, select the preference, which in this case is, you have 3 options. I'll zoom this for you to read it. Either it is imported, manufactured by Indian by using imported material, either it is wholly obtained in India, or is it not obtained in India. So if the manufacturer is in India with imported material, you select that. It is wholly obtained in India, which is an Indian origin, or so in non-preferential, it will generally be, it is an Indian origin material. So you'll click on Indian origin. The preference criteria value will be 0 because you're not adding anything imported. And then you will save it, which will get saved in this option. So typically, you will select the Indian origin option here. You will select 0 because you're not adding anything, and then just save it, which should be good enough. You go to the, there's no need to do anything else. This is not, the other details are meant for a preferential COO. We are using the same software, so don't get confused. For the next part is the shipment details. You will have from where it is going, what it is happening. You select the drop down list. Mind you, this route which is getting printed on the COO is editable. So when you keep on selecting this, let's say you select Nava Sheva to Jabal Ali, everything will get automatically printed. You can edit it, you can type it, you can change the way the wordings you want. You don't want in bomb for return or in bomb for Sahara return. You want Mumbai airport to Jebel Ali, UAE. You can edit it, you can type it in your method. Make a request to this department. What do you want? You are saying request for COO. Attach the drop down list, opens up to list of documents. Remember, it's a non-preferential, then you have to only attach invoice and packing list. So you attach that, upload that invoice and packing list, and finally you give the declaration. Where the goods are they in India? Are they in transit? Have they reached? What is it? It is goods originated in India, so it's an Indian origin goods. And what documents you have attached? Invoice packing list. Again, all of these 3 details get auto-populated. If it is correct as populated, you don't need to change it. If you have any corrections or you want to modify it, you can just type it out, delete it, and type it. Your user details, which is already there in the login, is already pre-decided here. So you just check it, it is okay, you save next. And finally, you have completed all the steps. You can click on the preview certificate to exactly see how your certificate is going to look, which are the columns, which are the text, which is the thing which gets printed, which is the thing is only for the data. So this is how your certificate will look. You will have your IEC details, your details. Here I've just taken an example. Where is what going to come? It is Indian origin, the gross weight, not weight, the invoice number. So you will see it. This, the first page is the electronic copy. The second page is the original copy. And the third page is the duplicate copy. The original and duplicate, you can take a print of it and then go to the chamber if you want a physical manual sign, stamp sign, if you require. Otherwise, the electronic copy, which is digitally signed, is good enough. You don't need to do anything else. Once you submit by making the payment of 200 rupees plus GST and digitally signing, the electronic data will be transmitted to that agency. You can go back and anytime go and download the certificate. I'll show you where it is to be downloaded. You can go to the dashboard. You have an option called submitted your application, select COO, select apply COO, and click on the button search. It will show you your certificate, something like this. And as you can see, we have applied for 5-6 certificate. As you can see, these are the Bombay Chamber certificate, and this is an EIA preferential certificate. These are approved. This is under process. The approvals, I can just go in the action tab and I can go and download the issued certificate. So when I click on download, I will get an option. This is my certificate and I can download it from here. So this is, if you have seen, or if you're part of the DGFT process, you would have seen this is similar to all other DGFT application processes. Whether it is your IEC, whether it is your advanced authorization, DFIA, everything it's more or less seamless to that level, that it is almost the same look and feel of the DGFT module. In case if there is query, you have to go back, click on action. There will be an option called respond to deficiency. You reply back and then it will get processed again. 100%, everything is 100% online only, except for the fact that if you need a physical copy, then only you will be asked, then only you will get a physical copy, otherwise you will not get it. Right? So that's how it is. As far as preferential certificate of origin is concerned, please mind you, every certificate of origin is linked to a free trade agreement. So whether it is an Indian ASEAN FTA, whether it is India, Australia, whether it is India, Sri Lanka, each FTA has some rules and regulations. It has some conditions, whether you have to, how soon you should apply, how much should be the value addition, how much should be the money, how much should be the Indian content. So all of that is to be considered, and only then the department will give you the certificate, for which generally the preferential certificate of origin, the requirement is of the cost sheet is to prove that what is your imported raw material, how much it is. So those details have to be mentioned in that import tab. So yes, the import tab is very important here. This import of raw materials and input raw material details, this is very important when you deal with preferential COO, but for non-preferential, it is not mandatory or not required. All right. I hope this is clear to people. Yes, no, anything in the chat, please. So if I know, Ratnesh, how about variation in the conversion rate? Ratnesh, from how conversion variation? You can unmute, sir. How will be conversion variation? Because your invoice is in dollars, you will put.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, on the page 1, when we started with the application of the COO,
Yeah.
you'll find that you need to select one option wherein, wait a minute, let me just go to that page once again.
Yeah, I know. I'm here.
Yes, so if you look at the moment you put in the invoice date, correct? So the conversion which is being displayed here, and the conversion which have been taken by the IceGate on that particular day.
Doesn't matter, na? You are doing dollar, na, sir? How does it matter?
No, it just came to my mind, so that's why I'm asking you. Because when you were explaining it, I was parallelly trying to, do
I'll
it.
tell you answer. I know this.
Mhm.
So I'll tell you what. In case if you have a currency in euro,
Yeah,
or not a dollar currency, unfortunately, I'll tell you what is the problem. The problem is these data needs to be going back to DGFT or the Ministry of Commerce for data mining purposes to understand कि export कितना हुआ, product कितना बचा, कितना गया, all of that, data, creating analytics. And
correct.
for that, they have to come with one common currency. So
Well,
when
no
it
problem.
is
But
euro, then the
Mhm.
conversion will be a problem. But when it is dollars, you will not have a
Yeah.
problem. So you will select your invoice currency as US dollar.
Perfect.
And then when you put your product, here it is. I'll tell you where it is. Here.
Mhm.
Let me clear this off. So when you will put your invoice value in the currency, it does convert into dollar. Now, because you have selected dollar here, $10,000 here will say $10,000 here. But let's assume I had selected euro and I had kept 10,000 euros. Then based on the exchange rate of that day in the system, it will tell me 10,000 euros is equal to $9,000. Now, whether it is right or wrong does not matter. It will take it its own check.
Exactly. My question was exactly this way only. that the conversion rate being taken by the system at the time of generation of the COO is not getting exactly linked to what was the rate on that particular day. So
Correct.
I don't know whether it
Doesn't
will.
matter. It will not have a
Yeah.
matter.
Okay.
It is purely for data mining purpose, because you are not inputting that. That input data is effectively for taken system driven, which you cannot edit any which ways.
Exactly. Done. Thank you, Mir.
Yeah.
It's clear.
As long
Yeah.
as you have inputted the right data. So if your export is in dollars and you have mentioned dollars, if your export is in euro, you mentioned euro, it will get printed as it is. The data which they want, that euro or an Australian dollar or a, let's say, dirham, when you are exporting to Dubai and they
Yeah.
want it to convert into dollars, is not your concern at all. Don't worry on that.
Correct. Thank you, Mir. It's clear now. Thanks.
Perfect. That means by one example, checklist took 86.50, but final payment remitted 87.5. There is a $1 more. That means by that is a currency profit or loss. That will always happen. There will never be, even if you do get it the same day or you get advance, that is going to be a difference, because customs exchange rate is not equal to the rate what your bank is giving. That is called profit and loss on account of currency fluctuation. That your accountants, your auditors are any which way is accounting every time. That will always happen. So that is not the concern. The concern here, that's never been an issue. How to amend? Why you want to amend, Mr. Prabhat? What you want to amend? Saxena ji, please unmute, sir.
सर हाँ इसमें क्या होता है कि many times the CO issued has some errors in it. While we are making we have made an error while filing, and therefore we would like to make an amendment.
तो उसको बोला जाता है in lieu certificate. अभी चालू हो गया है. So you can go to this amendment option and then edit it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it called as, you said?
In lieu. N-I-N.
In lieu. Okay.
In lieu. Because एक invoice number का एक ही certificate आपको issue होगा generally.
अच्छा.
So either you amend it from here and then you justify what is the amendment, what are you doing, what correction you are doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks.
Perfect. Cool. Anything else? Anybody? All right. Chalo. If this is clear, let me quickly run through. Last bit, what we want to discuss is, of course, it's been discussed. We have had a very interesting physical session in Mumbai. Is your EBRC. I hope most of you are already getting it issued and there is no problem anymore. But just a quick recap. Please note, effective of February of 2024, that is almost a year before, you as an exporter are supposed to generate EBRCs. Banks will not generate it. Banks will only push the IRM to the DGFT website and you will match it with the shipping bill and generate it yourself. What you will require, of course, you require your DGFT website login access, the DSC or the OTP for submission, the bank IRM details, the payment details, and the shipping bill. Three options which you can work around. So just to give you understanding, number one, if you have received $10,000 in form of your IRM, you have exported goods worth 10,000, you can generate a BRC for 10,000. That is one IRM, one shipping bill, one BRC. Alternatively, you have received 10,000, but you are doing part shipment. So you have three shipping bills, 5,000, 3,000, and 2,000. You can create three EBRCs, 5,000, 3,000, and 2,000. Mind you, please be very clear. You cannot have one EBRC with three shipping bills. Every EBRC will only be having one shipping bill number. You can't have multiple. Okay. So be very clear of that. You will have to have, in this case, three different shipping bills and three different BRCs, though your IRM is one. Last option, I can use multiple IRMs. So I've done a shipment of 10,000. I've received 7,000 as advance. I could have created a BRC, but then alternatively, I wait for the balance amount. While my buyer gave me balance amount, he gave me more also. So I've received now total 12,000, out of which I'll use 10,000. 7,000 full. From 5,000, I will use part 3,000. Generate a BRC for 10,000. And that IRM, which is IRM number 1111, will have still 2,000, which I will use it in my next shipment. So basically, you will do the match the following. You will do the planning based on how your export payment has been received against which shipping bill. So the advantage is there will be no or less mistakes. You know how the payment is to be adjusted, how it has been done. So that is going to be great help for you. All of these procedures are available on the EBRC module on the DGFT website. You can just log on to DGFT website, the main website. If you don't know the IRM or if you have not seen it, go to the IRM repository. Here, just select the period. Now, unfortunately, the period selection is 1 month. Earlier, it was long period, but because we have gone, the data is increased. So you just select any 1 month. When you receive the payment and search, you will see something like these. You will see the payments which you have received. Just copy paste the IRM for which you want to create a EBRC. Go back to the module and just go to the option generate EBRC. When you go to the generate BRC option, there are 3 steps. Very simple. We have discussed earlier also. You need IRM, you need shipping bill, you have to match. So now you have the IRM details. Go and attach the IRM. So select whether the payment is from third party or not. Obviously, no. It is a dollar payment, not a Vostro account payment. That is a rupee payment. If it is from Russia or something, yes, you will have to do SRVA. Is it for goods? Obviously, yes. Copy paste the IRM here. The data will auto populate. Now remember, I have $10,000.
अरे वो ड्राइवर नहीं है बाहर गाड़ी लेके
I might have to use less. I might want to use more depending upon what it is. Add that IRM. If you want to add another IRM, do the same thing again. So when you select, you will see the IRM. In this case, there were 2 IRMs I have selected. One IRM is already utilized. The balance is here. I will use the second IRM. Once I have put in the details of IRM, the IRM has got added to the BRC. So $787 is what I'm going to create the BRC for. Now my payment has been recorded. I will now have to map it with the shipping bill. So as soon as I go to the second option, I have all the details of the shipping bill. My humble request is please keep your shipping bill in front of you while you prepare this, because typo error is a very most common mistake which you can do. We have an option in case, now this is specifically if you have branches outside the state, that if you want to select the branch based on your GST, the one which will issue the EBRC, you can do that. Otherwise, it will be your registered address. Select the details, select the AD code, put in the shipping bill number, date, and so on, all of the basic information. If your transaction is under CFR or CIF, you can put all of the other details. Now we have 2 options. If you have to mention here, it will be minus from the net realized value. And this is the column where you only offer it only for an information purpose. So I'll show you how it looks. If you look here carefully, my realized is 787. I have not put any information. Everything under column number 12 is 000. And then my net realization is also 787. But I go back here. I have said $100 is only for a reference. It is not deducted. 40 is also only for reference. But $160 here, as you can see, is for deduction. I am paying discount, I am paying insurance, and I am paying freight. So when you go back to the net realized, you will see commission, which was only for reference, is not got printed, but discount, insurance, and freight is got printed, and this is not. And from 787, approximately that $160 has got calculated, and it has become 785. So this is the net realized, which is available to you, which you can utilize and which you can make the best use of. Once you generate EBRC, you have 30 days in case if you make any mistakes to cancel it and make it again. Otherwise, you'll have to ask your bank to do the needful. Please, one thing, please understand, you generating EBRC does not mean that you don't have to send documents to the bank or no. The RBI module or the RBI EDPMS problem is still with the bank, and the bank has to still close it at that stage. So bank will do the EDPMS and RBI closure. You will do the DGFT closure of generating EBRC. Yes, Sandeep, bulk upload is a problem at this point of time. It was working earlier, but it is again, unfortunately, not working. So yes, I agree. Bulk upload is a problem. It is not functioning as of now. There is some errors which are getting generated. We get 3 or 4 payment or for one shipping bill when I submit the document to bank, but when I download EBRC, I get 3 to 4 EBRC. Mahesh bhai, you don't have to download EBRC. If your bank is still making EBRC, I'm sorry, actually they are not supposed to, you are supposed to make it. So I don't know why your bank is doing it. They will have to only generate IRMs. And what you will have to do is, let's say you have got 4 IRMs for one shipping bill. You will go to this module, put IRM 1, put $10,000, say add. Put IRM 2, $2,000, add. Third IRM, add. Fourth IRM, add. Once you have added all 4 IRMs, that means your entire shipping bill is done. You go and follow the steps of shipping bill details and generate one single EBRC for the full amount.
No, but maybe I'm adding all the RM number.
Yes.
But when I download, we get three. Suppose it's a 3 RM, so we get three this thing, BRC.
No, but if you're adding it to one shipping bill, how will you get 3
One
BRC?
shipping bill only. One shipping
Are you
bill.
adding it here?
Yes, I'm adding on that point only.
You are adding,
but
you are adding all,
sorry.
you're adding all 3 BRCs here, all 3 IRM here, the total value, and then you're going to the shipping. Are you able to see the preview BRC with what
Yes,
amount?
The total amount after all 3 total will be the same. The shipping number will be also same. But it gets generated 3 to 4 BRC. I'll send you all the what I'll send you one to one.
Details. I doubt, sir, that is not possible, because when you're generating one BRC, you are only generating one EBRC. How can there be 3 EBRCs?
Mihir bhai, I'll send you one to one on
Yeah.
your email ID.
that,
What shipping bill copy and all three or four this thing. I'll send you one to one for you, Mihir bhai.
Right, fine, sir. We'll have a look at it.
You know me very well, Mihir bhai. Mahesh बात करूँ छू.
Ji, sir. Yes, please.
Classic Enterprise, Magnum Cargo.
No problem, sir. No problem. Understood. So please send me, but this should not be a problem. I mean, this should not be the one which is there. Yeah.
But is it okay because I'm getting a 3 to 4 BRC?
Answer is yes, it is okay. I mean, answer is if you have 4 BRCs for one shipping bill, there's no problem. But the point is, the whole purpose of why you can add multiple payments is that you generate one EBRC so that shipping bill to BRC is matched, because otherwise what happens, let's say somewhere in your filing or somewhere in the records, by mistake you deleted one BRC. What will happen? You will think after 2 years, अरे ये payment कम आया था. Actually ऐसा नहीं है.
Okay.
So, you will have to make sure that you always remember that there are 4 EBRCs against one shipping bill, totaling to this much amount,
Yeah, that we maintain the record and everything for that.
But that's exactly why you have to maintain it. Now, the point is this. So my concern is, if this is possible, why we should segregate it. So maybe let me have a look at this.
I'll send you the detail on one.
Have a look at it, and maybe if possible, we will do an online thing also. Take your AnyDesk and have a look at it, that why it is generating, and if it is the case, I mean through FPME or through PharmExcel, we can take this up with the DGFT team also, who is creating this, that why are you generating 4 EBRCs when I'm generating only 1?
Okay, what I will do today only, I had given some document to bank. So I think so within next week I will able to see the EBRC for that thing. So I will send.
Why is bank generating the BRC? My question is.
Sorry. I mean to say I had submitted the document to bank. Now I will get the intimation you can download the EBRC. You can fill up the EBRC. So once I will submit my old document also, you can refer to that thing, and jointly we will create the EBRC.
Perfect, sir. Done.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Right, sir. Megal Bhai has a question. EBRC generation shipping bill number not shown on DGFT informs you. Okay, Megal Bhai, I understand this. This is a problem. Don't worry. That's exactly actually a problem which is there on the bulk upload. Sorry, the bulk upload this is why this problem has happened, and that's why Sandeep, that bulk upload thing is not working, is what the Megal Bhai's problem is. Okay, if your data is not available, but okay, I'll tell you what, Megal Bhai, when you type the shipping bill number and if it doesn't get, you just say okay, you are still allowed to fill up all the manual data and you will still be able to create BRC. BRC doesn't get linked to your repository of the DGFT. So you can continue and fill up all the details and still get your BRC, even if that shipping bill is not there in the repository of DGFT. What is the significance of mentioning the insurance and freight on BRC? As per my understanding, insurance freight is must on the EBRC. Ratnesh, if your transaction is under CIF or CFR, yes. But if your transaction is not, and it is the net realized value is the commission and the other is just for the purpose of information, you can mention it here, which will not get deducted. The department, though, is not very clear or not very vocal that we want to generate what is called as FOB. But the idea is obviously the word net realized is nothing but similar to FOB. I'll not say it's an FOB payment, but it's similar to that.
Mihir, sorry. My concern is when they means these guys have given dedicated space for declaring the insurance and freight and not declaring it. I'm not able to understand if at all.
Declaring. It's not declaring. It is not to be deducted.
No, even so, sir, why would I generate a BRC for $10,000 when actually I'm able to generate a BRC for $12,000 because my invoice value is of $12,000. But when I deduct the freight
answer to your question is what they have understood it. Let's assume you have today received in your $12,000 only $5,000 as amount. Now, you will say I will appropriate it. You don't need to appropriate it. Now, freight amount you will take it in the last BRC. You are, let's say, issuing 3 BRCs. So what you will do is you will say 5,000, and in that 5,000, the total freight amount, which is $500. You are only showing it as information here. You are not deducting it from 5,000. You will wait for the last payment to come. And from that last payment of 5,000, 5,000 and 2,000, so you have 3 BRCs. In that 2,000, you will write $500 as freight and minus it and bring it to the net realized value. But in all the BRC, you will only show for the reference that $500 freight.
Okay. So if I'm understanding it right, it is particularly in those cases wherein the payment for a particular shipment comes in in a staggering manner, like 5,000, 5,000 and 2,000. So in such case only not to be shown to be opted for.
Yes.
Correct? Am I understanding it right?
Yes.
Okay, done.
That's one way to look at it. Yeah. So wherever, so DGFT doesn't say you do this way. DGFT says where you don't want. Let's assume another way around. Generally, what has happened? People have filed many times. People have filed a invoice, and then there are some changes. Whether the buyer says you pay the shipping charges, we will pay you, or they say, okay, we have given the transaction, but then the buyer asks for some discount.
Okay.
So department is saying we are giving you an option which is available if it is to be deducted in the net value, which for our understanding is that if it is there on the shipping bill, it has to be deducted. Very simple. So if it is a CIF transaction, if it is a CFR transaction, if you have commission shown on the shipping bill, there is no choice but to show it in the deduction value. Yahan pe.
No, I understood, but I understand that the justification that you are giving is very much rational with reference to the invoices wherein the payment are going to come in a staggering manner.
I agree. That is one option. Yeah. The other option, I'll tell you another option is what are people assuming? And I'll come to that. When I put commission, right? Commission, discount, all of it, up to 12.5% is valid. For now, policy doesn't mention it, but custom mentions it. Up to 12.5% of the value, it is considered as FOB value, and you are still eligible for drawback on that. The moment you write commission here, it will get deducted in your net realized amount.
But Mihir bhai, it is very much required. I will tell you why. I don't know whether I'm correct or incorrect. If my invoice value is of $10,000 and in reality or majority of time, because of the bank charges, we usually receive $25 or $50 less. Okay. So when you actually execute the EBRCs, your net value is calculated from what actually you have received. So suppose even though my shipping bill value is 10,000, but when I generate a BRC,
it is
they would
9950.
correct 9950. In that too, they would be considering your freight and insurance amount at actual. Suppose if it is $50, they will reduce.
That is not a
Take it
problem.
as
That is foreign bank charges. That is not coming in your
Mir bhai, just listen to me. So what they will do is the net value which will come to me will be after deducting the bank charges.
Yes.
So I'm looking at it from that angle that government want to give you the net value of your BRC after considering all sorts of expenses or maybe insurance or maybe whatever you would have gone for, even for that matter, a commission.
Correct.
So, yeah, but you have already answered my question that if where it is applicable in those cases
So
wherein
one
the
option
payments
is
are
as you're saying, if I have two payments coming and I have a $500 freight, I would do 250, 250. Then I show it in both. But मुझे नहीं दिखाना क्योंकि 250 नहीं है. I want to show exactly 500. So in one BRC I will show, in another BRC I will not show. I will not deduct it.
Yeah, understood, Mir bhai.
Yeah.
Correct. I understood. Thank you.
What is payment from third party? Vindas, the payment from third party is when you not receive from the buyer, but you receive from somebody else. So that's payment from third party. Retransmitted. Meghal bhai, I tried to this. Individual also, yes, I don't think so. There's a problem. I don't think you try this. There is no issue with when you create yourself single BRC. In bulk, there is a problem. If FOB is less than shipping bill value declared, then you might get refund demand. Meghal bhai, if the impact is later stage, if FOB is less than the shipping bill declared, then you might get refund demanded. But when commission is paid only, you need to declare not for commission paid locally. Obviously, it is only for foreign commission. It is not for the local commission. Local commission is not covered here because that's an INR payment. It is only foreign exchange, which is there. You will declare it here. So that's not to worry about. Right? Okay.
Mihir bhai,
Yes, sir.
regarding this FOB value, like if we put insert all these value, discount, insurance, and freight values, then FOB come down, right? And we need to compare that FOB value should not be below the shipping bill value FOB declared. Otherwise, there might
will be. No, it will be. If you have received less, if there's a foreign bank charges of $50, it will be that less. $50 will be less.
Right. So, but then afterwards they will get a demand notice for.
No, you will not get it. You will not. So you have to understand two things. The compliance at the EDPMS is different, and the compliance at the BRC is different.
Okay.
Your bank, when he closes $9,950 against your $10,000 invoice, he will put $50 as foreign bank charges and close your EDPMS saying there is no outstanding, full 10,000 received.
Okay.
You are generating EBRC for the purpose of incentives and benefits.
Right.
Where your 9950 is been realized.
Right.
So you will get 9950 as your BRC amount. You will not get 10,000. Now, from that perspective, if you're saying that, oh, what about my $50 drawback? Yes, you have to return it with thanks to the department with interest.
Yeah, so that is why what I try to do is, the FOB value, I see to it that it is always above the shipping bill value declared.
No, sir, you can't. So that means you can't say कि वो जो $50 कम आया है वो फ्रेट का कम आया है पर FOB बराबर है, ऐसा थोड़ी होगा सर.
फ्रेट में मैं एडजस्ट कर देता हूँ उसको.
I got it. So you are saying my freight which was $300 on the shipping bill, now you will say it is $250. So that your FOB is actually matching.
Right.
That's not how it works, na sir. That's not how it works. You will have to make see your insurance and freight, what is printed on the shipping bill is the actual thing. In fact, let me go a step back different. It is not the actual amount. ना वो तो shipping bill लिखा हुआ है. फिर वो जो convert होके rupee payment या dollar payment आप करते हो, that is a separate story. But what gets printed, if 200 is printed, you will have to say insurance as $200. insurance, I mean freight. If insurance is $50, you have to pay 50. Now you have received $50 less as foreign bank charges or $100 less. So that much FOB will be reduced. You have no choice there.
Right.
And that will impact your drawback. That will impact your ROTTEP. I agree there. It will not impact your EDPMS. Your BRC may not be, I mean, your shipping bill will not be on hold. Your bank will close it, but you will have to make sure that your drawback and accordingly is being calculated.
Sooner or later, then we might get notices for refund of small amounts, but
it will not happen. It will not happen because again, that's what I'm saying. When the bank closes EDPMS, it is considered as received.
Okay.
As long as bank is closing, there is no problem.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
How much commission is permissible? Kunal, RBI says reasonable commission is eligible or allowed provided you have declared it on the shipping bill. Now, reasonable is up to you. But yeah, I mean, the thing which you can justify and certify. I've got 2 invoice payment in 1 IRM. Then how do we get EBRC? Mangesh, you can get it. No problem. So what will happen, Mangesh? When you go here na EBRC, you see amount for EBRC. So you have an EBRC of let's say 50,000 and you want to use only 24,000. यहाँ पे 24,000 use कर लो. Balance amount पड़ा रहेगा. Same EBRC again you do and use the balance EBRC for the second shipping bill. Easily possible. Not a problem. So एक ही IRM 2 बार 3 बार 4 बार जितनी बार वो जितना पैसा आपका बैलेंस रहेगा उतना आप यूज कर सकते हो. मंगेश, there is no issue. What do we do in case of freight and insurance? In amount is mentioned in INR. Convert it into dollar as per shipping bill exchange rate and mention the dollar. Very, very valid point, Apuroji. This is normally the case. You have to convert it into the currency of the BRC, which is dollar, euro, whatever, as per the applicable shipping bill rate. So in your case, it is in dollars. So you convert insurance and freight in USD and then mention it here so that your BRC is coming in dollars because BRC will be in the currency of the realization only. All right.
Cool. Thank you.
So in this case, in freight, when you enter as per the shipping bill exchange rate, the freight will change because normally the shipping liners charge exchange rate which is 3-4 rupees higher.
मेघल भाई शिपिंग बिल पे $200 है.
हाँ.
आपको $200 लिखना है. Simple.
Okay.
वो see again go back. Don't, I mean, please understand. $200 when you actually pay. Shipping bill is charging you 89 rupees to a dollar. Today is 87. You had done a forward contract at 86. वो कोई नहीं देख रहा है. वो that is all your profit and loss on exchange.
Okay.
$200 छप के आया है shipping bill पे. आपको $200 लिखना है. Now, if you have written, if your shipping bill is written as 23,335 rupees divided by the exchange rate, जो भी डॉलर आ रहा है वो यहाँ पे आप लिखोगे. What did you actually pay is, if you paid in dollars, then write that dollars.
Okay.
But then your exchange rate will be a problem. So if your shipping bill, because you're taking it from shipping bill, see, when I'm making this in BRC, my reference of insurance freight discount is the shipping bill. So if you do not do it as per shipping bill rate and take another rate, it will become complicated. So you will have to take the shipping bill rate.
No, but normally freights and while filing the shipping bill, suppose if we don't have the freight rates, we just put a tentative amount. And insurance also put a tentative.
But why will you not have a freight rate, sir? Shipping bill बन गया तो freight rate बनेगा ही ना, sir? कैसे बात कर रहे हो?
नहीं मतलब freight अब shipping bill कर लिया, बाद में negotiate कर रहा हूँ मैं freight के लिए.
That is not my problem. You do whatever you want to do. He has not given you the service which he promised. You don't pay the freight. Still, you have calculated ना on the shipping bill. तो यहाँ पे तो declare करना ही पड़ेगा ना, because your transaction is CFR. You are saying you have paid freight, so minus तो करना पड़ेगा ना यहाँ पे.
Right.
You don't pay him because he had promised you something and he gave something else. आपको झगड़ा करो, वो negotiation is a separate story.
Okay.
Here you will have to pick.
Okay, got it.
Right. Ratnesh, for rubles, okay, one thing for rubles, first and foremost, what you need to do is select SRVA because it is only and only if it is, I'm assuming, Ratnesh, it is coming by INR. If it is coming in rubles, it is not, I mean, if it is rubles, then it is a foreign exchange. Then it is going to come in rubles.
Okay.
But if it is INR, which is, I mean, rubles converted and you get INR in your bank account from Sabur Bank, then it is an SRVA. Select this.
Okay.
Everything, your shipping bill is in INR, your payment is in INR, your
Correct.
EBRC is in INR. कोई problem नहीं है. And in that case, your insurance and freight भी अगर है तो वो INR में है.
But Mir bhai, majority of the bank are, means I'm telling you, there are orders which are kept on hold. जहां पहले orders ले लिए हैं, पैसा ले लिया है, bank is not at all cooperating in generating these BRCs related
Bank will
to.
not generate.
No, I mean the IRM will not get reflected on the.
But Ratnesh, agreed. That is a sanction issue. So on day one, you know, na, when you are dealing with this country called Russia, you should have asked your bank, whether it is Kotak's of the world or the ICICI or the SBI, that will you handle Russia payment? If they will not, please don't get the payment there. I will give you Sabur Bank, I will give you Yes Bank, I will give you probably Kotak, maybe some transactions. They are doing comfortably. You do it through them.
Okay.
It is like this. Ratnesh, you are into pharma. Tomorrow I compulsory tell you, अरे you तुमको chemical धंधा करना ही export करो ना करो. You say, but sorry yaar, I don't want to do it. Is it mandatory for you to do it? Banks have been given an option. These banks have a US exposure. Unless something happens today and tomorrow when Mr. Modi is there and blah blah stuff, logically, the point is it is a sanction. They don't want to take exposure on the Russian thing because they are supposed to have bigger problems by saying, so they will not touch your Russian payments.
Done, understood.
You will. So in that case, it is not only with Russia, whether it is Somalia's of the world or the Iran's of the world, you will have to route it. So before you do the transaction, you will have to get in touch with the bank. It is not a standard dollar transaction. The banks are not comfortable handling it. You will have to check which bank is handling it and that do it. I'm doing it with Sabur Bank. I'm doing it with Yes Bank. They are comfortable doing it. They are like, we will allow you. They're doing it rubles coming through an SRVA credited to an INR account.
Got it.
But I have banks where payment is coming. They get credited. They know Russia. They will not tell me. They will not give me anything. They say, sir, तुमको NEFT आ गया, तुमको तुम्हारा पैसा मिल गया. Don't tell us and don't come to us about this transaction. I will not give you anything.
Understood.
Now, unfortunately, it's a once a year transaction. I don't want to open a new account somewhere. The exporter says, sir, छोड़ो ना, देखा जाएगा. पैसा आ गया. We don't take any incentive, anything. देखा जाएगा, आएगा तो. That's the problem. So I know that is knowingly I'm holding that transaction in that account. The only good part is because it is coming in INR, वो NEFT आ जाता है. Bank बोलता है, सर इसका बारे में मुझको बताना भी मत कुछ. Don't tell me it is anything to do with Russia or export. ये INR में आया, आपको NEFT आ गया. I don't care if it is coming from Rajasthan or Russia. Don't tell me only. Because if it is Russia, you tell me, I will stop all your accounts. I will not even touch that paper.
Okay. Mihir bhai.
Yes, sir.
We need to close.
All right. Perfect.
Okay. Thank you very much for your wonderful talk.
Thank you,
if
sir.
If there are any more questions, I ask they can mail it to us at fpmindia@gmail.com. We will refer it back to you, Mihir bhai, for your answers.
All right. Before we say bye to everyone, my just small last update. I believe, I'm sure all of you are aware, the track and trace system for our pharma has been shut down from 31st of January. So there's no more track and trace for your export consignment. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
सर कौन से पोर्टल पे डालना है ये आपका क्वेरी?
fpmindia@gmail.com.
ठीक है.
Just put it on the chat.
हाँ ठीक डाल दीजिए. Thank you. fpmindia@gmail.com, right, sir?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.